In the era of Craig, a darker, grittier Bond, do you ever just want a great big romp? I think so. Firstly, thanks everyone for coming back. Like this video if you enjoy it. It makes a huge difference. And subscribe too for a Bond video every week. Moonraker is probably the biggest, most outrageous Bond film ever made. This type of film would be really easy to criticize, but what it lacks in realism, it makes up for in charm. Roger is peak Roger here. I've made a whole video talking about what is peak Roger. He's coming off the back of The Spy Who Loved Me. He's finally hit his groove, but The Spy Who Loved Me is also the film that saved the Bond series. Another thing happened in '77, the year The Spy Who Loved Me came out. Star Wars hit the big screens. At this moment, Star Wars was the biggest film of all time. So the reaction was, let's do The Spy Who Loved Me in space. Both start with a robbery, one a submarine, the other a space shuttle, and then Bond is reintroduced.
Moneypenny, is 007 back from that African job?
He's on his last leg, sir.
Any higher, Mr. Bond, my ears will pop.
I didn't think I'm ever going to fly with anyone else.
You're so right, Mr. Bond.
But very quickly, we realised this is not a normal scale Bond film. Bond is pushed out of an airplane without a parachute. And somehow there's a free fall chase. Richard Kiel is back, baby. From what I'm told, he was a great guy. What an opening. They had to jump over and over again to get all these shots. Nowadays, they just CGI and it wouldn't look right. So, referencing back to last week's video, I was 6 years old, I'd seen my first Bond movie and I needed a lot more. My uncle Carl said, this is the one to watch. So we went down to the video store and got 2 copies. Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. This is probably the best Bond film for someone that age. It really captures the fun and wonder of those old era Bond films. The adventure. Bond travels to LA to meet Hugo Drax as one of his space shuttles is stolen. In the novel, it's a rocket, but they updated it to be more Star Warsy. Also, it's very funny. They want to set this sequence in America because space shuttles manufacturing, but they're clearly shooting the bulk of this production in France. So apparently Hugh Drax did a William Randolph Hearst and shipped his chateau brick by brick to California. So a lot of these LA scenes are just France, and they're just like, go with it. We don't care. Nor should you. Actually, a cool little note is this is the proper first look people got at a space shuttle. Maybe people saw pictures in newspapers, magazines. This film came out 2 years before their first space shuttle mission. While checking out the space shuttle facility, Bond meets the Bond girl. Wait for it.
James, to my friends.
Holly Goodhead.
And remember what I said about this being peak Roger?
Over there. You missed, Mr. Bond. Did I? As you said, such good sport.
Then this happens. I don't know how this made it into the film. It's like a completely different genre. But great. And Barry's music. The story takes us to Venice. When I first saw it, I didn't even know it was a real place. Then I went and stood in the exact spot Roger did. God, that's embarrassing.
Could I interest you in something?
Well, I'm tempted to say yes immediately. But I think maybe I'd better have a look around.
Please, go anywhere you wish.
And this film tries to show you more of Venice than just the gondolas. But obviously it has that too. A gondola ride that turns into a chase, and much more. And being Bernard Lee's last Bond film, there's nice moments with him and James Bond.
You better take 2 weeks leave of absence, 007. Have you any thoughts about where you might go?
I always had a hankering to go to Rio, sir.
I think I can recall your mentioning it. 007. No slip-ups. Or we're both in trouble.
And how does Bond get to Rio? Concorde, of course. Hashtag bring back the Concorde. Although I could never afford it. And look at Roger getting off the Concorde. He just looks incredible. Rumour has it that this is the flight that he arrived in for filming. And what they did was they quickly got on, did hair, makeup and wardrobe, and then have him go down the stairs for the film shot. Although from what I know of Roger, they could have shot it on the spot and he would look like Bond coming down the stairs of the plane. I keep going over, but like, he's 51 years old here and he's so much confidence. It's actually not fair you can put that into one man.
I'd like to pay it a discreet visit tonight.
Tonight? I think you may find that a little difficult.
Difficult or not, it's something we have to do. And meanwhile, how do you kill 5 hours in Rio if you don't sample?
And if there's an aspect of the series that really hits its heights with Roger Moore, it's the travelling aspect. These films go to locations and really seem to live in them when they're there. You get a real sense of place and it enhances the adventure. Sitting at home when I was 6 years old, it felt real exotic and new. I could only imagine how crazy this was in 1979. Even something as simple as a cable car. They really want to utilise Rio in this whole sequence. Fleming loved travel. He loved getting into new cultures and learning new things. The series is really unique and unparalleled when it mixes travel, style and adventure all into one. Roger could have done it best as well. And a lot of these sequences, Venice, Rio, really feel like you're there. It's not like a series that shoots in Toronto and is pretending to be in New York and you just know this is a bit of a lie. Being Brazil, have to go to the rainforest. You get to see it all before you actually get to see it all. And just when this big Bond film couldn't get any bigger, Bond and Dr. Goodhead hijack a space shuttle to go after Drax and stop his evil plan. They really did a great job of this film. Doesn't look cheap. Derek Meddings was nominated for an Oscar for the special effects. He should have bloody won the thing. They hold up so well. And Ken Adams sets, well, they're Ken Adams sets. And this film just turns into a crazy, big climax battle, which is mad for a Bond film because they're famous for them. But this film just does up to 11. And has a surprisingly kind of intimate, intense moment at the end when Bond has to save the day. So, to go back to my analogy, you only live twice, or The Spy Who Loved Me in space. With a crazy space battle. This film is a great romp. Moonraker was the most successful Bond film ever at that point, and held that record until GoldenEye in 1995. This film did what the series needed to do. Star Wars came out and changed blockbuster history forever. Instead of digging their heels in, Cubby Broccoli changed tack. And that's what makes Moonraker great. You won't get the themes or character development that we've seen in other Bond films, but you'll get fun. And there's something to be said for that. This film is such an artifact of its time. It took the Bond formula and put it into space. It really, really got a new generation interested in the film back then. And that's what the Bond series does great. It's constantly changing and adapting with the times, but keeping the core of the Bond character intact. So maybe over the next while you'll watch Moonraker. because, God, it's outrageously fun.
Look after Mr. Bond. See that some harm comes to him.